Hello, welcome to Enterprising People. I'm Kimberly Bailey Toureau. I'm so happy that you joined us on Enterprising People, the podcast. And we're talking to wonderful, interesting, and progressive people all over the country. But we're here, right here in fabulous Las Vegas, my home. And we have so many great things to talk about. And today I'm so excited because, hey, I have been a fan of this sitcom since I grew up as a little girl, What's Happening. And they're celebrating their 50th anniversary this year. So we're so honored to have our very own hey, Nelson Haywood with us. Nelson, how you doing?
Yeah, that's good. Haywood is here in the house with you.
In the house. I am so very excited. I mean, What's Happening, that sitcom was just a part of my life. I can really chronicle every moment in my childhood because of What's Happening. If I see a rerun show up, it will actually chronicle a time in my life because I remembered that show. And What's Happening is celebrating 50 years of telecast. But tell us more about the show for people and the younger people. I asked my children, I said, do you remember What's Happening? And Mom, no, they're not that young, but they're in their
Right.
20s. But they said, no, Mom, I don't quite remember it. But let's recap a little bit. What's Happening was a wonderful, really number one sitcom on television.
Yeah, none of us anticipated that, first of all. We'll start with that. But, the television series of the movie Cooley High, which is a very,
Yeah.
very famous, one of my favorite films of all time.
Favorite.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so in making a television series of it, they chose not to go with the dramatic aspects of Cooley High. But the premise remained the same, about three young guys in high school, the goings on and the particulars that teenagers get into when they're juniors and seniors in high school, and the running around of Chicago. Well, they switched it to South Central LA,
Yes.
and you still got these three guys and the antics that they and the situations they get into, and centered around one who was Preach in Cooley High, a very smart writer. He was just his IQ was through the roof. Did everybody's homework. He helped everybody out. He was the smart one. And then there were the other two characters. I played the youngest of the three guys, the tag along, who was kind of trying to prove that he had a right to be with the older
Mm-hmm.
guys, but he really was quite a bit younger than them and made for a lot of comedic relief. They spent a lot of time with the older character, Roger, at his home with his mother, who's a single mom working day and night. So she's really not around a lot. And the younger sister, who was there to disrupt all well-meaning antics. Everything
Yes.
and anything that we were going to get into, she was either the one that either tried to bilk money out of us and extort us so that she wouldn't tell, or she was the one that, as she says, a little birdie told her she would release the information to the mother, and then we'd have to come clean. A
Right.
lot of fun. It was a great time. I didn't anticipate the show going to have the impact that it had. The
Yeah.
crossover appeal, actually. It has crossed over
Mm-hmm.
to so many cultures, and even still today, here 50 next year is the 50th anniversary, not this year. We're
Okay.
prepping this
Oh,
year,
okay.
but
Okay.
because we started in 1976,
Yes. Okay.
so next year will be our 50th. But 50 years later, people
Mm.
watch the show still. People come up to me in the street and say, I look at it for a number of reasons. One, it takes me back to my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
It helps me remember another time in life when I really was happy and enjoying it. It's fun. It
Yeah.
makes me laugh. It releases the stress. And I think originally, Kimberly, that's what the show was about. It was a
Yeah.
time when there was a lot of coming out of the social strife in America. There was a lot
Mm-hmm.
of economic stresses that were going on in the 70s and into the late 70s and into the 80s. And people worked hard and they came home and they didn't want to see more of the same. More of the
Mm-hmm.
same heaviness that they dealt with all day long. So they would put on the sitcoms, not just What's Happening, but all of the shows as a
Mm-hmm.
relief. It's a relief valve.
Yeah.
And for some reason, our show seemed to, and I'm not that it's just our show, but definitely what's happening was a show that people looked to like it was part of their family
Mm-hmm.
in their
Yes.
living room, and they felt like it was family they were watching. So when they see me on the street, or Ernest Thomas, who played Raj, or Daniel Spencer, who played Dee. And, we give love to Shirley Hemphill and Fred Berry and Mabel King, who are no
Yeah.
longer with us. But
Yeah.
their essence is because people say they relate to us like they know us and like we're family. And it's still
Yes.
going on 50 years later. It's
50
amazing.
years, yeah, but it was all love and
Yes.
that dry humor, especially Dee. When she
Yes.
had that dry, what do you think, Raj? Just
Yeah.
that I loved it. And the
Yeah. Yeah.
timing was impeccable. And
Hmm.
also it was so authentic, I think, to families across the nation. And that's why people can relate because it was just really about love and those friendships and that
Yes.
family. It was just
Yes.
wonderful. And I know that now what's happening. It was on for how many years was that on?
Originally, we did 3 seasons.
Okay,
And we were the 76, 77, 78, canceled in
okay,
79, and then brought back in 1985 as What's Happening Now. And we did
yes,
85, 86, 87, and 88.
wow. And what brought it back? What happened? Was there a demand? Because I
I think
remember
this,
what's happening now.
yeah, a
Yeah.
couple of factors. I mean, one, Ernest Thomas was very instrumental in going and appealing to Columbia Pictures Television at the time and
Mm-hmm.
saying, because it went from ABC to Columbia Pictures Television. Now it's Sony that owns it. But
Mm-hmm.
um, the show went into syndication after we were canceled. And I mean,
Mm.
it was a very popular show. So being canceled in 3 seasons prematurely, it was taken away for
Okay.
various reasons. Um,
Yes.
unmentioned, but there were reasons behind why it was taken off the air. And then they realized you can't really syndicate a show unless you have the proper number of episodes. And
Yes.
we were short of that. So there was an
Oh.
incentive there from a business standpoint to get it back on. But I think the bigger incentive was the fact that during syndication, the show
Mm-hmm.
was more popular than when it was in
Mm-hmm.
first run.
Yeah.
We got
Because
more viewers.
yes. Yes.
So that, along with Ernest making that appeal on that basis and the need for more episodes, really put all things in place to make a comeback for it.
Yeah, I just remember your tagline. Hey, 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 hey! I just
Yeah.
remember that, and even to this day,
Yes.
we talk to our friends. Hey, hey, it's just
That's
it's
right.
something. But I have to say that I think you originated that welcome. Hey, 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 and I
Sure, it
think
was
you
based on
still
my
use it.
name, actually.
Oh,
My name's
okay.
Haywood.
And you said,
So
hey, hey, I
so
got
I was
it.
like, rather than coming in and saying, hey rerun, hey Raj, what's happening?
Yes,
It was like,
yes,
no, hey, hey, hey.
yeah, yeah.
And
I
then,
love it.
so it worked. It was something that it worked. It just
Yeah,
worked.
it worked. But right now that you're living here in Las Vegas and
Yes.
working and with your lovely wife and
Yes.
tell us so when the show take us along that journey when a show usually ends and especially child stars you always hear about their struggles when especially when a major sitcom such as what's happening ends like how did you go on with your life and because a lot of people don't they fall off the wagon a little bit that they can't deal with the stressors that come along with not working and on a major sitcom like
Sure.
what's happening any longer so how did you maintain and now you're producer writer I mean you just
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
on but what did you do to stay on that straight path towards your success.
I think, I have to give a great deal of credit to family, number
Okay.
one. Um, Also, the fact that I wasn't a newbie. I had been
Mm-hmm.
acting since 5. So, starting in the 60s, Madison Avenue and advertising and all the ad agencies I worked with, I mean, all of them. I mean, I could go through the list and the names, but Benton and Bowles, Foot Cone and Belding. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Um, then making it into feature film and
Mm-hmm.
then going to Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
I think spending that time on Broadway really, really makes a big difference in the actor
Mm-hmm.
because you have to really embrace the craft at its
Mm-hmm.
core and respected and appreciated at the core without all the lights and the glitz and the PR. You're
Right.
there. It's grassroots. It's ground. Granted, nowadays you got to have a lot of money to even get a ticket to go see a Broadway show, but
Yeah.
it's still, from an acting standpoint, the place where you have to truly be authentic. You have to be honest, and you have to dig deep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very humbling. Broadway
Yeah.
is. So
Yeah.
there's not this stardom thing about it. It's very, very humbling. You don't get the press. The critics are brutal. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
really, although I was used to the rejection already, but you have to really be able to saddle that rejection. But it really is grounding. And
Mm-hmm.
then from there, to go from there to Sanford and Son
Yeah.
and work along, those greats, Red Fox, LaWanda
Yeah.
Page, Whitman Mayo, Raymond Allen, yeah, all these people, and then the stars that circled and came through.
Mm-hmm.
I got to be a real good observer.
Okay. So you were
Both,
really watching. Yeah.
yeah, what to emulate and what not to emulate.
Okay. Okay.
Based on, as a kid, from what felt good and what felt right and what didn't feel right. Um, and then to be into what's happening and to come out. By the time we were done with what's happening, I was ready to stop in playing.
Mm-hmm.
I was a surfer. I really
Oh.
enjoyed it. I had learned how to fly a plane at 16, so I'd been flying.
Wow.
So we were flying back then out of Burbank. Later on in life, my partner and I flew our plane out of Van Nuys. But
Mm-hmm.
those were the fun things to do.
Yes.
When the show was over, it was a bit of a traumatic scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Easily could have spun me,
Mm-hmm.
but I had the ambition. I wanted to go to school.
Okay.
And there were a lot of economic difficulties that cropped up after the show
Mm-hmm.
was canceled, and just as a family, my
Yes.
primary family was, and I'm part of that now, and I
Mm-hmm.
always was part of it, but I felt it more. And I had to try and do things to try to kick in, and I did. I'm a worker, so I I did all kinds of things. I worked on out of
Mm-hmm.
Redondo Beach as a shipmate, you know,
Okay.
untying hook, tying on hooks,
Yes.
untangling lines, gaffing fish, filleting fish,
Wow.
and then coming home and using that to fill my freezer
Mm-hmm.
and also my work ethic, you know.
Yes.
So I moved back to the East Coast, which I'm from New York. Went back there and went to school. Was in
Mm-hmm.
Connecticut. Went to school. Went back to New York to Pratt Institute. So I did a little architecture, did electrical engineering, just
Mm-hmm.
really getting the knowledge I wanted right about the time that they brought what's happening back as what's happening now.
Yeah.
So I went
Wow.
into there with a lot of aspiration to do really well from an acting standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
acting opportunity,
Yes.
which it was fun. It was a continuation of a show I love. I think the acting opportunity for me was a lot less than I had hoped for.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
found, I'm not going to go so far as to call it a disappointment, but I did find that it's not really what I left school to come do. Let me
Yeah.
try to swing a different bat with them. I wanted to write or
Okay.
direct some of the episodes, but I was denied that opportunity.
Oh.
So that started to breed in me an ambition,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
such that when the show was canceled, I was like, not well. We didn't get what's happening now. Didn't get canceled. We finished our contract out, our syndication
Okay.
contract. So
Okay.
I was then very happy to be released so that I can go do what I
Mm.
wanted to do. And I went into camera, and
Mm.
I was a film loader
Mm-hmm.
and 35 millimeter films. I've loaded film. Went from there to a second assistant. So I was a clapper, with the
Okay.
sticks,
Yes.
keeping the camera reports.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And people don't know that guy, while he's only the second assistant cameraman, very important role because you that's the person who's taken all of the camera reports from every shot. What was a
Mm-hmm.
good shot? What was a no good shot? What's a print and a keeper?
Yeah.
He's also the
Yes.
one who's keeping the inventory in the truck of all the film
Mm-hmm.
and in the dark room to make sure that things are going out to get processed. So I started to get this detail oriented thing about me. I like all the
Yeah.
really getting into the nitty gritty of organization,
Mm-hmm.
and pulled focus for a while, and
Okay.
ended up leaving there and ended up in film distribution. I became a
Wow.
screenwriter
Okay.
and a writer for hire, and then writing for myself and pitching around town, and ended up in a film distribution company foreign with
Oh.
a very close friend of mine that I met way back in 1979 when I did a
Hmm.
movie with Ron Howard's brother Clint Howard.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah, did a movie called Evil Speaks, and the
Okay.
accountant on that became my one of my best friends, and then my business manager. So
Wow.
we had this company together. We distributed films from here,
Hmm.
distributed to the foreign markets. I'm in France a couple times a
Oh,
year. Going to
okay.
Cannes, not the film festival, but the sales market, doing the business of it all. You know,
Okay. So do
very
you but
different.
do you believe that what's happening as a young actor really helped to propel you? People dream about having those opportunities of working with distribution companies, having the opportunity to write, just being in that and just to work a camera. I mean, in a really professional setting. Do you
Yeah.
believe if you weren't on what's happening now, you would have still had those opportunities? And if you weren't on what's happening, how would you have leveraged to even have those opportunities? So many people ask, "How do I get in? How do I get in?"
Yeah.
Because it is so
It's
closed, you
tough,
know.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think, I really think that what's happening denying me, what's happening now, denying me the opportunity to write and direct, propelled me.
Okay.
It motivated me, and I was determined. I wasn't gonna
Uh,
let it go. What's happening being canceled prematurely propelled me because it left me with no options. It's like having a carpet under your feet pulled
mm-hmm.
out, and I had to think
Mm,
quick. I had to be
okay.
fast. I had the grit. The
Yeah.
survival grit had to happen
Mm-hmm.
immediately, and I was young. I
Mm-hmm.
was 19. I had to think
Mm,
fast and come up with options. And even when I went to school, I had no resources. I had to try to
mm,
find a way to make it. Um,
yeah.
and so between those two things, that really just gave me an old term, the gumption
Yeah.
to
The
get out
gumption.
there and make it
Uh-huh.
happen. And those opportunities are there for young people. I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm a proponent. I'm a union member, so
Yeah.
I've always been in SAG. I was in
Mm-hmm.
AFTRA. They merged the SAG AFTRA, Screen Actors Guild is SAG, and of course American Federation of Television and Radio Artists is
Mm-hmm.
AFTRA. I have always been a member, but when it came to camera stuff, I immediately went for IATSE, International
Mm.
Association of Technical and Stage Employees,
Right.
um, and actually went into being very, very active in finding my way into the unions. And if you
Mm-hmm.
really go in and find your way and find an apprenticeship or demonstrate an ability, there's a
Yes.
path for everyone and anyone from
Wow.
there into professionalism, where
Yes.
a young person can have their own annuity building, they can have their own retirement building, and they can have
Oh.
a circumstance where they can be mentored either through the work or an individual to really, really learn the craft at the highest level, the
Highest level.
production value level.
Yeah. And I'm hearing so much in regards to this AI and technology and you're a tech guy as well. So where do you see this really landing for individuals to to actually work their craft when maybe technology might be taking over that situation?
Well, yeah, and it can take over, and
Mhm.
so I think it's really incumbent upon the crafts person, the tech
Mhm.
person, to incorporate it,
Okay.
learn it, know
Learn
it,
it.
learn
Mhm.
it.
So you
Therefore,
can
you
beat
put
it.
a leash on it.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? And then use
Yeah.
it to get more of your expression out. Because if you use it properly, the only thing holding you back is your imagination. And if you
Mm.
use it properly, anything you can imagine is now even more plausible and faster.
Mm.
Time to completions are shortened. So,
Mhm.
and of course, I've got my producer's hat on. I can't
I
help
know,
it.
I know, I know. You wear a lot of hats, so I'm just trying to. I kind of wanted to get right back to what's happening as well because I want to know where they are now. I know that Fred Berry, unfortunately, he passed on, but God,
Yes,
was he?
yes.
I mean, to this day, you go to a wedding, somebody's out there trying to do Fred. That's how,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's what I see. Or Soul Train, that's what I'm thinking about Fred Berry.
Fred was a
But
rock star.
he was a rock star. What was
He's
he
a
to
rock
you?
star.
What is one of some of those memorable moments that you and Fred spent together? What do you
Oh,
remember?
so many. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, on the set, um, he was unbridled. He he was absolutely authentically going to do and be what he is, no matter what's written or
Mhm.
directed. He had his
Okay.
own flow. Uh,
Mhm.
I saw him come to life. Once it was action and time to go, he just popped, like, I mean, pop for lack of a better term, but
Yeah.
his locking was, he immediately went into it. I tell the story all the time where, as a teenager watching him, it seemed to me that he was doing things with the music that I hadn't heard. Like, his
Mhm.
motions helped me at 19 hear things in the music that I normally would have missed.
Yeah, cuz he
He
hit every
jumped,
beat.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
Yeah, he
did
jumped to
that.
beats, he hit beats
Yeah.
and moments, and he took pauses, which we know in music, pausing is everything. He took
Yes.
pauses that helped me to feel the music more than I might have had he not been dancing. So I really,
Yes.
really appreciate that. Off of the
Yeah.
stage, he was my friend and my brother. I spent a great deal of time with him and his wife, Francesca, in San Francisco.
Oh.
Um, we spent a lot of time going to jazz concerts. He and Francesca turned me on to the music that my wife and I today we love and share with each other. Um,
Right.
it was like amazing to me to go on our weekend to San Francisco and to be in Berkeley,
Uh-huh.
sitting on the rail up in the balcony, not even in the orchestra, but
Yeah.
with this line of sight to the greats. And the Al
Yeah.
Jarreaus, the Gil Scott Herons, Noel
Ooh.
Pointer on violin, Flora Perimin Ayerto, Phoebe Snow, Jean-Luc Ponty on
Wow.
violin. It just goes on and on and on. Roy Ayers,
Yeah.
Hubert Laws. It's just so many of the great artists were right before me performing. And it's because
Wow.
of Fred and Francesca. We rode horses on the beach in Half Moon Bay in the
Wow.
fog.
I love it. I love
This
because
was,
yeah,
yeah, it
because
was
so
just a
many
great
people
life.
work on a set with actors, but when they leave the set, they don't see each other. But you really had a relationship with Rerun, and
A
I
family
remember
ship.
our
Yeah,
family ship. I love it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Roger, I just say
Yeah, yeah.
Roger.
And Ernest,
Ernest,
and
I
my
know.
relationship with him
Yes.
was powerful because he's such a talented and gifted actor,
Oh yeah.
theater actor, and I came from theater. So on the
Mhm.
set, we were able to bounce off of each other timing wise.
Mhm.
But I was watching his craft. I watched him work, and it was really a joy to see that happen. And then
Yeah.
Shirley was.
Oh, Shirley.
I
I
love Shirley so
love.
much. She loved me. That was one of my closest friends on the whole set.
Yeah.
She looked after me. She talked to me. She gave me great words of wisdom and advice. I listened to some as a teenager. I didn't listen to others. I should have, but she was always there, caring and looking after me. And Mabel was mother to all of us.
Oh yes.
She was Mabel
Oh,
King
she was
was
everybody's. I felt it.
everybody's
Yeah, I
mother.
felt it. Yes, she was
She
everybody's
mothered the
mother.
director, the producers, everybody. And she was so larger than life because she and her friend Linda Hopkins had spent so much time in France performing and singing. They
Mm.
just had the chops, and the years on them was amazing.
Yeah.
Danielle Spencer's a little
Wow.
prodigy. You're
She
watching
is
this young person. How does she know how to deliver that line like that? It
timing.
reminded me,
Yeah.
yeah, it reminded me of Michael Jackson in the early years.
Mm-hmm.
How did he know to sing the emotion into these love songs? And he's 7, 8, and 9. She
Yeah.
had that, and it was a joy to be around and watch her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's a doctor, a veterinarian, correct?
Yes, she is. Hmm.
Okay,
She
wow.
just retired. Yes.
She just retired. Wow.
Yeah.
I
She
just
just
looked
did.
at her as the little sister. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we so enjoyed it. Now, I don't know if you could, because we're running out of time, but I wanted to just hear, do you know what's going to happen next year for the 50th anniversary of what's happening?
Sure. My wife and
Can
I
you?
are planning quite a bit.
Yeah.
We originally were going to do a big soiree, but it's really turned into a streamable content event
Oh,
where you can have Ernest Thomas, Daniel Spencer, and myself sitting around in one of the sets of the show discussing certain aspects of it, and then we can have clips where we go out to it.
mm-hmm.
And then we'll have personal appearances by some of those who have been around. We even want to appeal to and talk to the Doobie Brothers and try to
Oh,
brag
yeah.
them on board, and just really make something that is fun to enjoy and watch over and over again and stream
Yes.
from your home.
Yeah.
That's what's passionate. That's my passion. I'm a writer first always, and
Yeah.
that has led into my producing. We're producing 2 films right now. One about these legendary young guys out of Detroit, 2 black tennis players that nobody knew
Mm.
their stats, yet they came out of nothing from nowhere, going to all white high school and
Wow.
Mumford High School, and their teachers who were not coaches trained them. They went on with their natural ability to make it all the way to the majors in Europe, playing the
Wow.
greats, playing Agassi, playing Connors, and winning.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's a buddy story about the travails and the camaraderie and what took them through to the success. They just got inducted into the Hall of Fame, so that's going to be a great one. It's the
Wow.
Maurice Hunter story. Clash
Okay.
of the Titans, Maurice Hunter story. And then the second film we're doing is about Yale Kamazar, who's known as the
Okay.
father of Miranda, who was a
Oh,
law scholar, and he wrote
yeah.
and created the Miranda rights. So we're very
Wow.
busy with those 2 projects. There are many others. We're doing a documentary on Fred Berry, so
Okay.
we're going to try and get that
Yeah.
that handled. And
Okay.
then there are other projects too that my wife and I are talking about and working on. Maybe even a revamp of what's happening.
Yay!
Ooh.
I think we need that. This country needs something like that, especially
Yes.
with all that we look at right now that's going on. This is the love. This is the unification. Because, like you
Yes.
said, everyone enjoyed what's happening and what's happening now. I want to just thank you also, Haywood Nelson, again, for being on Enterprising People. And I look forward to having you back. You're here in Las Vegas now. So even
Yes,
though
I
you
am.
travel the world and you're an author as well, you're writing books, and just
Yes.
so very proud of you. So just keep on keeping on. Thank you
All
so
right.
very much.
Kimberly, think it's
Okay.
my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this is wonderful. I just want to thank you too for being on Enterprising People and listening to Enterprising People. We want to thank Silver State Smiles Club for being our sponsor, and I want to thank you too for being Enterprising People.